An overflow crowd of thousands of police officers from across the country filling this church in Queens, as we're about to show you, joined by Vice President Joe Biden, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, Mayor Bill de Blasio, and other dignitaries. Can we get that video, please? We're having some technical difficulties, as you can see. All there to pay tribute to Officer Rafael Ramos. He was executed along with his partner, Wenjin Liu, while sitting in the patrol car 1 week ago. Brian Yennis is live in Queens, New York with the very latest. What was it like out there today, Brian?
Julie, simply, it was a ceremony and a funeral service fit for a hero. Thousands of NYPD officers lining the streets outside of the funeral service here, watching and clinging on every word as all those speakers spoke in the 2-hour funeral service here outside of the Christ Tabernacle Church here in Queens, New York. A church that meant so much to Officer Ramos, a 40-year-old brother, a father of 2 young boys, and a husband who really was here for 14 years at this church, was an usher. He volunteered there and was studying to become a pastor. Today, NYPD helicopters flew overhead in the missing man formation as NYPD palm bearers carried out Officer Ramos's casket. Taps playing in the background and NYPD bagpipers and hundreds of motorcyclists led the way for Ramos one final time. While inside the church, Vice President Joe Biden spoke directly to Ramos's kids, Justin and Jaden, and his widow, reiterating that they are not alone during this trying time.
Justin and Jaden, know that although your father is gone, you have inherited an entire family. The men and women of the New York Police Department will always be there as long as you are alive. They never, never forget.
Police Commissioner Bill Bratton also speaking today, honoring Officer Ramos by making him an honorary department chaplain of the 84th Precinct. He and his partner, Officer Wenjin Liu, were also promoted to detective first grade.
Here we are, to remember. Remember what it means to take the job, those of us who are privileged to call ourselves cops. No other profession will give you as much, or sometimes take as much.
Officer Liu's family was here in solidarity, and Commissioner Bratton put it best when he said that both officers will be partners for all time now. Julie?
Brian, there was strong support for NYPD in today's speeches as well. Just such touching words coming from so many different places.
That's exactly right, Julie. We have to mention, though, that outside there were hundreds of police officers, some of them definitely turning their backs on Mayor Bill de Blasio, a sign of the tension in the city. But inside the funeral service, and by and large, it was about reiterating support for the NYPD. Governor Andrew Cuomo reiterating his support by saying he was impressed by these police officers and calling them the greatest and finest police force in the world, saying that in the face of these protests, they stood there.
I frankly was amazed at the discipline and professionalism that the NYPD demonstrated. The NYPD protected the right of freedom of speech, even though they themselves were the target of false and abusive chants and tirades by some. What a beautiful testament to their professionalism.
Again, he is reiterating the weeks of protest. These NYPD officers did exactly what they're supposed to do, which is to be professional. He also reiterated that these officers and their families are really cut from a different breed. Vice President Joe Biden saying these families and officers are just different than all of us, having to send their loved ones out there to protect all of us, not knowing if they will ever get home. As for Officer Ramos, he's being laid to rest as of right now, and we can say that his badge was on him. His shield was taken off before he was taken away to be buried. His shield number 6335 will be forever retired. Julie.
All right, Brian Yennis, thank you very much.